I've waited 100 years, and I'd wait 1,000,000 more for you. Nothing prepared me for the privilege of being yours would do. If I had only felt the warmth within your touch, if I had only seen how you smile when you blush, or how you curl your lip when you concentrate enough, I would have known what I was living for all along.
Happy Monday, beautiful people. Welcome back to Morning Coffee with your host, Rick Alexander. I'm at Rick Alexander _ and at Lionheart Radio on Instagram if you want to connect with me there. Also, the next installment of the Clarity Academy is almost full. So if you're interested in pushing fast forward on your personal development, figuring out who you really are and what you really want out of this life, then go to rickalexander.com, sign up for the Clarity Academy, or shoot me a DM on Instagram, and we can talk about whether or not it might be a good choice for you. So today what I wanted to do, because I think everybody that listens to this show, there's some part of you that's growth-minded. You might not be your default setting. You might have realized through your own sort of trial and error that you almost have to be growth-minded. I think that's what happened to me. I was much more fun-minded. Like if I ran into troubles in life, like I just wanted to go have fun. I wanted to ignore it. And what I realized is I was sort of in my life always running up against the same walls and sort of dealing with the same struggles. And so I realized, like, really I have to be growth minded. And then I kind of got addicted to it. And now I have this show and the coaching and the programs and the writing. And all of that happened because I realized I was going to keep dealing with the same damn problems in my life if I didn't learn how to grow past them. And right now, I think it's trendy to be growth-minded. It's like personal development is soaring right now. I think the economy is doing well. People are down to spend money on themselves and how they grow and how they learn. But there's a part of personal growth that nobody ever talks about. And it is the fact that once you open those blinders, once you see the possibilities for what life has the ability to be, you can never put the blinders back down. You can never go back to your old life. And in fact, you'll never fit in your old life like you used to because you're actually not who you used to be. And that's something that is really unsettling for people because they want their old friend circle. And what might happen is you spend a lot of time figuring your shit out, learning about yourself. You start learning about how you're projecting things on other people and how you have all these coping mechanisms. And you start really realizing what you want in life and you're working toward it. And then you go try to have the same conversation on a Friday night about how work sucked and about how you're ready to get drunk. And then maybe you just don't fit in that life like you used to. And you can force it, right, to the detriment of your own contentment. But at the end of the day, I think the most uncomfortable thing that nobody talks about in the personal growth space is the fact that once you grow, it's time to find a new place to be planted. Because you're never going to fit in your old life like you used to, again, because you're not who you used to be. And if you think back, the easiest way to think about that is just think back 10 years from right now and who you were then. Chances are that you are a completely different person. You probably have different values. You probably were at a completely different time in your life. And to think that you could jump into your life 10 years ago and that it would actually be satisfying for you is laughable. And if it would be satisfying, it could be because you haven't grown in about 10 years. But that's almost impossible because life sort of molds us at its will when we're not going with the flow anyway. Chances are that there are perspectives you have that are different. Hopefully you didn't allow time to grow you into a more cynical version of yourself. Hopefully you allowed your creation mindset to be steadfast and you didn't allow struggle to change your disposition. But regardless, it's just a good way to think about how once you change, you just don't fit like you used to. And it's the most frustrating thing ever because what most people, I think, assume is that once you start growing and once you start bettering yourself, that your life is actually better. And that's not true. It's not true by a long shot, in fact, because the reality is that you're now contending with an entirely different set of possible rules, an entirely different set of values, an entirely different set of possibilities for your life. And so to think that you could ever take this entirely new perspective and stuff it into the old box that you used to be in is, again, laughable. It will not be a thing. I love that growth is sort of on trend right now. I like that it's a popular thing, obviously, because it's in the space that I'm in. Because the thing about life, the thing about growth that nobody ever talks about is the fact that a true life of growth is going to tear you apart 1,000 times over. And each time life is going to give you the opportunity to rebuild yourself, this time stronger at the seams. Where you broke, where you split, where you bent, all of those places offer you a lesson, an opportunity to change. And I say this a lot, but I wouldn't wish it on anybody truly to be growth-minded because I'm so acutely aware of what that struggle actually entails. But like I said, you can never put the blinders back down once you're growth-minded. Once you start seeing life for what it has the possibility to be and not for what it currently is, it's expected that there's going to be some natural growing pains in that environment. You can never push the stop or the rewind button on your own growth. And so because of that, you're going to find that you're frustrated. It's frustrating when you don't fit in your old friend group like you used to. All of these different aspects can be so frustrating, but that doesn't mean that they're not worth it. And that's something to really think about. Because if you have a complete upheaval of your life, if you go through a season that is much more struggle than what you would hope, chances are that the more you're struggling with that thing, the bigger the future is going to unfold for you. But if you choose not to learn the lessons that growth is teaching you, if you try to force yourself back into your old life because you don't like the discomfort that growth is actually giving you, well, then that future that would unfold for you is actually going to be put on pause, because the greatest possibility for what your life has the ability to be is contingent on you learning the lessons that life is teaching you and you growing in the way that life needs you to grow so that you can step in to this next phase of your life, this next adventure, this bigger version of who you have the possibility to be. But I just wanted to put it out there that growth is painful as all hell. It's okay if on the other side of growth, you find a lot more struggle. It's to be expected. Don't give up. Stay in the fight because there's something for you in that future. It's going to be wild. It's going to be great, but it's contingent on you stepping fully into the growth that life is asking of you. And so if you are someone that's growth-minded and you found that you are having a lot of trouble getting back in a groove and getting back in a rhythm of life, just know that it's to be expected. Just know that there's still something for you, but maybe you're just not looking in the right areas. Maybe you have a lot more lessons, a lot more growth to go. And then as you start learning the lessons that life is teaching you, you can start putting your pieces together in a way that is good for you. Your best bet isn't to force yourself into your old life. Your best bet is to figure out what the new version of you needs in order to feel nourished, in order to feel sustained, in order to feel constant energy and inspiration, and then start building that into your life. That's going to be the game changer for you. But I just want you to know, growth isn't all fun and games. I love you guys. Have a great Monday. I'll talk to you tomorrow on Morning Coffee.